Gun rights supporters have begun a petition to deport UK-born Piers Morgan after his recent attacks on gun advocates.
Incomprehensible. You're an unbelievably stupid man, aren't you?
Morgan has been using his show on CNN to lobby for tighter gun control, and he's been very passionate.
This debate is not about the right to defend yourself in a home. It's about why America continues to allow deranged young people to buy these semi-automatic AR-15s.
Gun control doesn't work. Criminals don't obey laws. That's why they're called criminals.
It's just total claptrap.
He's also been active on Twitter. This tweet was in response to the petition. And this one to the NRA's Wayne LaPierre.
I'm baffled as to what anybody would need a weapon of this sophistication for.
Morgan believes that banning military-style assault weapons and high-capacity magazines does not infringe on America's Constitution.
Yeah. I'm so frustrated, I'm so furious that these kids have been blown away again with legally acquired weapons. And you guys on the gun lobby still want to tell me the answer is more guns.
White House petitions require 25,000 signatures before the White House will respond. The petition against Piers Morgan has just passed the required 25,000 signatures.
Thousands of Americans have signed a petition calling for Piers Morgan to be deported after he criticised the country's gun laws on national television. During an interview with Larry Pratt, the executive director of firearms lobby group Gun Owners of America, on his CNN chat show, the outspoken English journalist attacked his guest's views on gun ownership, saying, "You're an unbelievably stupid man, aren't you?" A seething Morgan went on to call him a dangerous man, espousing dangerous nonsense, and that he shamed his country. In response, thousands of outraged Americans have signed a petition on the White House website calling for his deportation, for what they say was an attack on the country's Second Amendment, that of the right to keep and bear arms. The petition reached its target of 25,000 signatures in just 3 days.
You gotta look at both sides of the
Can you
equation.
stop talking?
You want to have a debate, you gotta look at both sides.
Yeah, to debate, you gotta let me speak. Let me speak. It's my show.
You really need to hear this, and 7 minutes is all I need. You're going to hear something that every other person has been too freaking scared to tell you. But I'm breaking this cone of silence because I'm sick of the games, I'm sick of the hype, and I'm sick of the BS we've all been fed. But I'm going to put a stop to it. Right now.
This is really funny. Piers Morgan lately on his show on CNN, a couple CNN stories here, has been a pretty strong advocate of gun control. He's been arguing with a lot of pro-gun advocates. He had Larry Pratt on, who was on this show last week, same day or the day after. He was on with Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan said he's an incredibly stupid man, so on and so forth. Well, now a deportation petition has been put up on whitehouse.gov asking the White House, or the government, I guess, to deport Piers Morgan because of his anti-gun ideas. And the text reads, British citizen and CNN television host Piers Morgan is engaged in a hostile attack against the U.S. Constitution by targeting the Second Amendment. We demand that Mr. Morgan be deported immediately for his effort to undermine the Bill of Rights and exploiting his position as a national television host to stage attacks on the rights of American citizens. This has 34,000 signatures as of this morning, Lewis, which is incredible. This is hilarious. You know why it's hilarious?
Because they're taking away his right of free speech.
And then he says that we don't support the First Amendment because we're wanting to get rid of it. No. U.S. citizens can call for it. You can't. If I went to England and called to change your laws, people would say, get the hell out of here, foreigner. Only Americans have been taught to be walked all over. This is globalism, where the UN tells our military what to do.
But that's true. But there's another layer.
They're trying to.
By saying Piers Morgan should be deported for saying this, you are essentially suggesting that the government infringe on his free speech rights.
Right.
However,
2 days ago, Kurt Nimmo for Infowars.com posted a petition that we compiled to have the White House address the activities of the foreigner, the non-U.S. citizen, Piers Morgan, who is engaged in domestic subversion here in the United States. Now, it's federal law that someone engaged in subversion from a foreign country, i.e. trying to overthrow the basic Bill of Rights, should be deported. And I'm going to show you the law here in a moment. And a Wall Street Journal legal scholar is also concurring with my analysis. But the bottom line here is Piers Morgan, already the king of tabloid journalism, facing investigations where others have been arrested in England for phone hacking and other activities, has fled to the United States. And we'll get into his so-called model of journalism here in a moment, but he wants to make constitutionalists, what they call right-wingers, angry to respond to him. He's bragged to get his ratings up. This guy is a joke, okay? He is a complete and total joke, and he thinks you're stupid. He puts out tweets making fun of the dead kids. We have an article about that, saying, yeah, of course I'm using their deaths to get your guns. He says, I've come to America as a British supremacist to conquer you. And it's not tongue-in-cheek. This is this arrogant guy's attitude. They think all Americans are dumb scum. You know, they call us rednecks, all of it. You know, well, we're smart enough to have our liberties and freedoms, bud, and have lower taxes than your country, where a lot of good Brits are fleeing here. You're definitely not one of them.
Piers Morgan asking for gun control is not actually any violation of the Second Amendment, because Piers Morgan is by no means restricting anyone's right to own a gun. Now, I guess if the government decided solely because of Piers Morgan to rescind the Second Amendment or to violate it or something like that, maybe you have an argument, but fundamental misunderstanding, which would actually be a violation, a real violation of the Constitution, if the petition were to be carried out.
Yeah, it really would be, and this would not be the what's her name,
Dr. Laura.
This would not be that situation. This would be a real situation in which the government punishes someone for saying what's on their mind.
Yeah, although I mean, it does bring up a question, which is, if Piers Morgan isn't a citizen of this country, is he protected by the Constitution?
Yes, yes, he is.
The law says deport Piers Morgan. Why InfoWars is calling for his deportation. And it goes over the law on foreigners engaged in sedition, the Supreme Court rulings that clearly state openly for everyone, and that last ruling they had was in the 70s, where they deport communists and fascists and Nazis and people like that. It's been done over and over and over again. This guy's under criminal investigation. They've asked him to come back to England. The point is, it's time to get him out of here.
Just like someone who crosses the border illegally and gets murdered is. It's the same thing.
Is that true? A person who crosses the border into the United States is protected from the bill, using the Bill of Rights for all the things that the Bill of Rights protects?
The Constitution does not only protect citizens, right? I mean, now Lewis is talking about somebody who may have entered the country illegally, but certainly we have to say that it protects, as we know, people who are permanent residents. We've had a number of situations with people engaged in terror plots who are immigrant permanent residents but not citizens, and they are protected by the Constitution.
Wall Street Journal columnist and constitutional research points out that under the U.S. Constitution and under a federal court ruling, Clenderdist versus Mandel 72, that again a communist was kicked out of the United States, deported, and there's the legal transcript right there in that article.
If you're on this soil, you are protected by the laws of this country.
I don't think that's true for a number of different laws.
I don't know how far it goes if you are here illegally, though. I didn't know this was going to come up. We could have researched the specifics of it.
I mean, I know that doesn't apply to every single rule,
right?
Especially when it comes to financial things, but I think mostly it does.
When they say it's about the First Amendment, no, it's not. When foreigners come here and try to overthrow our government, that is a foreign attack. It's called subversion.
Well, one loud critic of U.S. gun laws is CNN host Piers Morgan. However, some here in the U.S. are ready to send the British citizen packing. Over 80,000 people have signed requests on the White House petition site to deport Morgan for engaging in a, quote, hostile attack against the U.S. Constitution by targeting the Second Amendment. The White House requires 25,000 signatures to garner a response. On Twitter, Morgan asked, quote, if I do get deported from America for wanting fewer gun murders, are there any other countries that will have me? One of the hosts of the BBC's car show Top Gear was quick to jump into the fray, tweeting, quote, Americans, it took us 40 years to get rid of Piers Morgan. Please don't send him back.
Understand why we came up with the petition. This is from Friday. Understand why we did this. Because we are defending our constitutional republic. Because we are disgusted by his statements where he makes fun of the dead children, where he says that he's conquered the United States, and this article has it all listed right there. It's disgusting how he says ban all of our guns. This man is outrageous.